This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Danilo's free. He goes to Gibbs wide. Edge of the box. Foley. Yes! Great goal! What a hit from Arena! Gibbs wide. They've only gone and done it again. Forest back in the lead. Rewarded Gibbs White. Oh, and he scores! And the City ground goes ballistic.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Red Side of the Trent, here to preview the Ipswich Town game for Saturday with two fellow Reds fans in Mason Coy and Danny Wetton. I do apologise in advance for my dodgy camera. I'm obviously recording in the cubbyhole of where Harry Potter used to live, if anyone gets that reference. I know, Wetton, you've obviously all been making fun of me. How are you, first of all, mate?
Yeah, really good, thanks, mate. Really good. Actually, really pleased you asked us to come on to do this. Breaks the week up nicely talking about Forest. So I'm looking forward to getting into it. So how are you anyway? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm more better for seeing a Christmas tree in the background. That will definitely cheer some folk up.
I did just
People might say
missus,
it's too early.
I did just say to Missy, turn the lights on. She's like, no, it'll be too sparkly. So, okay, fair enough.
No, definitely turn them on halfway through this pod. That'll be good. Mason, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you. Very good. Looking forward to having a bit of a Forest chat, a bit like Danny. So, yeah, buzzing.
I'm also very sorry to listeners and watchers on YouTube that I'm not in the red kit, as Wetton's in the second shirt, Mason's in the third shirt, and I've ruined it all because I don't buy Forest shirts, weirdly enough, very often. Although I think I will this year at some point.
When was the last one you got?
Oh God, Bet Bright.
Is it that Bet Bright one? Yeah.
Oh no, I've had the bus seats, and I got the salmon one last season.
Oh, you did.
So
yeah,
I just get the away shirts because they're much nicer. I've just not kind of plunged £70 into the club yet. Right, guys. Anyway, we're going to talk about before we get into the Ipswich game. Let's talk about the last couple of games. Obviously, lost to Newcastle before the international break. Went to the Emirates on Saturday and got royally. I don't want to say bummed, but we got bummed. Thoughts first of all on that game.
I just thought from the very moment the game kicked off, we were behind the pace. We didn't look like we knew how to play together. I thought the midfield three didn't work whatsoever. But I just think it's a collective thing. No, it just weren't at the races across the board. And yeah, it's just a bad day at the office. I'm not going to read too much into it. I know we'll talk a bit more about it, but I'm not going to read too much into the result or anything. I mean, we were under the weather and Arsenal were on top form. So the combination was never going to be great for us. So,
Mason, anything to add to that kind of brief opening?
No, I think it was bang on, to be fair. Yeah, it was just one of them games. Like, I think I called it after 3 minutes. I turned and I looked at my brother and I said, we're in trouble here. If we carry on like this, we're going to be in trouble. You could just tell there was a couple of little moves that broke down, and I just thought, yeah, you can tell. Like, it's so easy to tell, isn't it, when your team's on it or not? And I just thought from minute 2 or 3, I thought, yeah, we're not at the races here today. Something needs to change quickly.
Yeah, did you get reminiscent of that first season when we went to Arsenal and got beat 5-0 almost? Because that's how I felt, and I felt like that was because of, I think, personnel rather than kind of how we played, and but they kind of went hand in hand. In all honesty,
I think. Yeah, of course, it's going to give you like that sort of reminiscent feeling or flashbacks to that first season. But it never crossed my mind about, this is how it came across to me. I think it was just more of a case of an isolated incident, and is in that game and how we played for me. In that first minute or two, they had an attack, then we went straight to the other end and had an attack, and then our midfield just never recovered from the attack. And that was the tail throughout the whole of that half. Their ability to just beat our press and pass straight through the middle of the park to that pocket where Odegaard was sat was just on from minute 1, and it just killed us for the entire game.
I mean, Mason, what would you have done differently to counteract it? I know me and the lads had a discussion on Sunday about certain stuff, but I kind of felt like, in hindsight, we could have played a slightly different formation with who we had available.
Yeah, I think I put it in our chat on on the day after the game. Sorry, I think it was the morning before you guys recorded. 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1, whatever form 3-4-1-2 you said would have been ideal. I think it was the perfect game to try it. Obviously, Murillo had been travelling all over the country. I'm not saying he was tired, but he could have probably done with another pair of legs next to him. I think Moreno was very isolated with Saka and didn't do very well against him. He didn't, and not many people would. That's not no mean feat on Moreno because I like him. But yeah, I think three at the back, a 5-3-2, something along them lines, 5-3-2, 5-4-1 would have been so much better. And I think probably looking back, Nuno, for me, gets a lot right, but when he gets it wrong, he gets it wrong. There's Villa last year that springs to mind, and I think this was in the similar bracket. This was definitely in a similar bracket to that. So yeah, I'd have definitely gone with a 3/5 at the back. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Danny, I reiterated how light we look in midfield at the moment. I mean, Anderson and Gibbs White. Did you buy into what I think Reece said this in our chat actually? Reece Coy, this is Reece 2.0 has been on the pod. That maybe Nuno kind of left Anderson and Gibbs White out to be more ready for Saturday coming.
But you know what? Until he put it in the chat when we was all talking, I never even crossed my mind about thinking about it like that. But I do actually think that could potentially be a thing, because if they're not fully fit, why risk them in a game that you're not exactly expected to win or do anything? I mean, I still think the personnel that was available to Forest, not saying that they necessarily got a different result as in the loss, but they could have played a lot better than what they did. They had enough personnel there to still do better than what they did. Like you said, Wickers, with the change of formation and all that, it could have worked a lot better. But I do think that resting them potentially is what he did. I don't think there's any reason not to believe that now that Reece has said it.
I mean, I think he'll be beneficial in the long term.
100%.
Yeah. Obviously, against Ipswich, it's going to be a different type of game, a different kind of feel to it, Mason. What have you seen of Ipswich that gives you your opinion on them this season?
I've seen them a few times, to be fair. Obviously, I think we watched them first game of the season, didn't we, at Trent Nav before Forest, because they were the early kickoff. And to be fair, I know they lost to Liverpool, but I thought they were decent. And then I watched them again yesterday against Man U. I thought again they were decent. I think they was unlucky, to be fair, to not win the game. They've obviously got a few dangerous players. They've got Hutchinson, Delap. I like Smodics, but I wouldn't necessarily be worried about him. But I think he's a decent player. So I think on the whole, I think they've, to say they're second bottom? Is it second bottom they are? I think they've actually been okay. Weirdly enough, I think they'd be coming here wanting to get 3 points. To be honest. Yeah,
I mean, I recorded the fan preview before we recorded this one, and fan preview is going out a little bit later, Danny. But I said to him that I think what gives Ipswich a good foothold in a lot of games this season, or if any, is that the fact that they've been together for quite a while, and Kieran McKenna's been their manager for 2-3 seasons now. How vital do you think that is, because of the contrast of what we had when we come up? So I think we've similar time out as well, Ipswich.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's vital to their potential ability to survive in this league. I think having a manager and a set philosophy and identity and how you're playing, and then they're able to just bring certain. I know obviously they signed quite a few players, but they're still able to handpick players to fit the system they're playing, because everybody knows what they're doing. I think that is a key thing for them to survive. And I also think that I still think they're dangerous in most games they go into. They proved that, like you say, against Man United. Watch that first game of the season against Liverpool, caused them all sorts of problems. They're obviously there to be gotten at, hence where they are in the league. But I still think you have to be very cautious of Ipswich for sure, because they have such a way of playing, and then each player knows how to carry the manager's tactics out to a T. So you've got to be very wary of them. But yeah, having that settled system and how to play in it is, I think it's vital to the survival if they're going to.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it would be unwise to take this game lightly. I mean, they beat Spurs, and then Spurs went and beat City. I mean, this league is so weird. I mean, we beat West Ham 3-0. Newcastle beat us 3-1. West Ham beat Newcastle 2-0 last night on Monday night. I feel like, what the heck is happening? Honestly.
Do you not think it's like one of the best Premier League seasons in a long time?
Yeah, just like ignore Liverpool.
Everybody's on a fairer like playing field, I think, right now. I think it's brilliant.
Ignore Liverpool because they kind of look like they're going to run away with it potentially. I mean, I don't know how Arne Slot's just gone in and he's just slotted like.
We'll be the only team to beat him twice this season.
Imagine. And Arne Slot's
like, imagine it's going to happen.
He's old in the Premier League, and all he can think about is Forest, and he's just got a fist like Forest. Like, yeah,
it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. But like what I said, what I'm thinking is Mason, though they beat Spurs, who are obviously a very good side. So we've kind of got to be careful. This is their team though that played against Man United. I'll just bring it up on screen and then I'll read it out for the listeners. So it's Muric in goal, Tuanzebe at right back, O'Shea, Burgess, Davis across the back four, Sam Morsey and Kajuste in the midfield, Wes Burns, Hutchinson, Smodix behind Liam Delap. What do you kind of make of that team, and where do you see the dangers and the holes that we could probably pick?
Well, I think the dangers, the obvious ones, are the number 10 and the striker, obviously Hutchinson and Delap. But I really like Delap from what I've seen so far. I think he's a really, really good striker, and he's scored 6 goals now. When he's 6, or is it 7?
Yeah, 6 and 12.
He's got a great return. He should have had another 2 at the weekend if it weren't for Onana's great saves, to be fair. And Hutchinson obviously scored a great goal, but he impressed me. He was quite clever in the way. I think Carragher picked it apart after the game. He noticed where United's midfielders were, and they were only really playing with a 2. So he was picking up some great positions. Hopefully he doesn't do that against us. But yeah, on the flip side, I think that box of the 2 centre-halves and the 2 midfielders should be key for us trying to get something out of the game, to be honest. I think it's very weak, if I'm being honest. The 2 centre-halves are championship. Let's put it as it is. I think they are championship level defenders. Not seen much of is it Caduced or however you say it? I've not seen much of him. I've seen him yesterday. I thought he looked okay. He was leggy. And Morsey is just going to kick lumps out of you, and I've seen it firsthand myself. I literally trained with him, played with him, everything. He's a nasty man. he makes Ryan Yates look like a ballerina. I tell you that for free. He is a nasty man. So if he's got Gibbs White nipping around, or Anderson, whoever it is, he'll be in a world of trouble, and he's a guaranteed booking if anyone wants that on the bet builder.
Fair enough. I mean, Danny, do you see anything else there that Mason's maybe missed?
I know that they play quite predominantly down the left hand side, don't they, with Leif Davis? I think that's an area to be got at, because they'll leave them gaps. Do you know what I mean? With him pushing forward, obviously Tuanzebe will stay back a bit more. But I just feel like obviously we'll touch on Anthony Elanga in a bit, but if he plays to his full potential, if he starts, he should be able to get into them spaces behind where Leif Davis is going to leave him, and we should be able to exploit that, in my opinion. But that's an area I think for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about it. I don't know if you guys watched Match of the Day the other week, and Brentford had a right topsy-turvy game with them, and the right back had an absolute car crash of a game. And I mean, if he played, I'd be licking. Callum Hudson-Odoi would be licking his lips. Against Tuanzebe, he's a little bit more difficult because he's obviously a bit more of an established defender than him. But someone that I still expect Hudson-Odoi to get the better of. I'm in massive agreement with you there, Mason, in terms of Anderson or Gibbs White need to be available for this game, because that will cause them so many problems. I feel like Man United don't really have that player. I mean, Bruno Fernandes kind of is, but I think he's kind of needing to be asked to play deeper, and he's not kind of got that energy like Morgan or Elliott have got. So I feel like that's a key component. I'm in agreement with you as well, Danny. Leif Davis is an excellent player. I mean, so I'm bringing up, I've named this my team, but it's actually our team because we all picked the bleeding same one. And I'll read it out for the listeners. So Matt Sells and the back 5 are as they've always been. So Alaina, Milenkovic, Murillo, Alex Moreno, Yates and Dominguez in the central midfield spaces, Jota, Silva, Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi behind the evergreen Chris Wood. Danny, what made you go with Jota Silva then over Anthony Elanga, because that is a big hot topic of debate.
It really is, and I'm very much in the give a player a chance for as long as you can, and also play him into form. But yeah, I think it's getting a little bit silly now. I think Elanga needs a rest. He needs to come out of the team like get that hunger back to like want to actually beat a man. Like the fact that he won't actually knock the ball and run just infuriates me when he's the fastest player on the pitch most of the time he plays. His end product's not really been good enough, and I think the body language coming from him when it's in game isn't good enough either. And whenever Jota comes on, he's always causing problems. We'll take the Arsenal game out of it because that was just a car crash from Forest in total. But generally, when Jota comes on, he offers so much more. Like his work rate, his enthusiasm, his willing to actually play in the game, whether it be defensive or attack, his crossing ability, his nastiness, his anger, everything about him just makes him a starter for me at the moment. And I think he deserves that start. I think he's been banging on that door for a while. And I think Elanga's fully opened that door for him to come straight through the threshold, mate, if I'm honest with you. And the thing is, I'm not going to sit here and bash Elanga as in like I hate him. I don't. I think he's a brilliant player when he's playing well. But at the moment, he's just not playing well enough to keep warrant starting him game after game after game. I just think he's run his course for this little bit of period of time. Let Jota have his time in the sun and just work on himself and get himself back to a level where Newcastle want to pay 50 million for him again.
Yeah. Mason, you apparently had a statement that you wanted to share with us. But with keeping it nice and PG, at least. What have you got to say?
No, to be fair, I was listening to Danny thinking, no, like stop talking because you're mirroring everything that I was going to say. For me,
sorry, mate.
he is the most frustrating Forest player I think I've ever watched, and like you guys can probably agree, there's been a fair few of them. But for me, he's got the easiest game out of every player in our team because there's nothing tactical that he needs to do apart from when we're defending, just get behind the ball. When we're on the ball, all he has to do is stay wide. He doesn't have to tuck inside like he started doing this season and using his left foot. Like, yeah, we get it. You've got a good left foot, fair dues. All he needs to do, like Danny said, it's just a touch down the line and run. His game should be so simple. And I feel like, I can't say because obviously we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but I feel like he's been let down a little bit this season. Like, I can't believe no one's just put their arm around him and said, listen, stay wide and just touch it and run. That's all you need to do. The amount of times I've seen him turn that down, where as a winger with his pace, he should be licking his lips. There was a couple of times at the weekend, he got the ball on the halfway line. You turn and he's looking at Calafiori, who's a makeshift left back. He's basically a centre half. And for me, if I've got that pace, I'm turning and I'm gone. He did it once against Jorginho, but I'd expect us three to beat Jorginho in a foot race. He's the most frustrating player, I think, definitely in the Premier League era that I've watched for Forest, because I'm not calling him a bad player because the talent's there. We've seen it last season. He's got a great finish on him and he's got an absolute lethal cross. His set pieces have come out of nowhere at the start of the season. So there's something there to be worked on. But like Danny said, I think he needs a time out of the team. And to be honest, I think he's injured anyway. Because that to me looked like a broken collarbone. I don't know about you. I'm not even a doctor, but to fall down and then to hold that part of your body is such a strange place to hold. And for him not to be able to continue, he was running with one straight arm. It looked a bit strange, to be fair. I felt a bit sorry for him in that sense. But yeah, I think it kind of, like Danny said as well, it's perfect for Jota to step in because he needs a bit of time in the team to prove what he's about. We know roughly what he's about. And like Danny said as well, the Arsenal game is not much to go off, but even then, he got a goal disallowed, and if it weren't for Wood's noggin, he'd have put one in the top corner as well. So on another day, he comes over 2 goals.
Yeah, I think it's a very strange one with Elanga at the moment because obviously everybody's got their view on it as a Forest fan, but a lot of people, like us, saying you don't take your man on enough. It hasn't taken his man on enough. Throughout the course of this season so far, which is frustrating. People counteract that, saying yes, he has done it against like Calafiori or not Calafiori or Jorginho or some other players in what other games we've played. It's like yes, he has, but they are the only isolated 1 or 2 times you've done it. Yeah, you can grasp at that and say, yeah, well look what he did against Jorginho, irrespective of whether it's slow or not. He took him on, got a foul. Fair enough. If that's your argument, then yeah, fair enough. He takes his man on once or twice a game. But a player of Anthony Elanga's ability and what he's in the team to do for Forest should be attempting that at least 15 times in the game, in my opinion. And if it doesn't come off, fair enough. but you're trying to do that constantly, and you're constantly giving that fullback the thing of he's going on the outside, he's going. Then every now and then cut in, take that option in there, but you've got to be consistent in taking your man on round the outside, get down the byline, cross it in, and see where you go from there. But I think if your argument in return is yes, you do take your man on and you win a free kick like once a half, I don't think that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I mean,
you should be doing it way more consistently.
Yeah, I think like we look back at that last game against Burnley where he's got the ball, he's got a yard of space and he's whipped it. Look at Liverpool away this season where he's got the ball, he's whipped it across to Hudson-Odoi and created a chance. They're the kind of times when you want him to kind of use instinct. And I know what you guys are on about. Like, I want him to, within the first opportunity, test the fullback. Go right. I'm gonna run you, and then that's when you know if you're in for a game or not, really. Because if he can just run them, you're gonna go, well, I'm gonna keep doing that all day and all night. Once I get the ball, I'm just gonna keep running against you, because that's the worst thing a fullback or if they're playing free centre half, they don't want to run into the corner with you. No chance, especially with his pace.
So the last thing any defender wants is somebody with extreme pace running at them, whether you're fast or not yourself, right? If you're fast, fair enough, you may be able to deal with it, but you still got that doubt in your mind as a defender that because you're generally backtracking slightly, so your ability to match his speed at a certain point when he's going past you is like next to impossible, because you can't turn and accelerate to the pace he's already at going past you. So even if you're fast, it's causing you a problem. So he needs to do that, because 9 times out of 10, even if the left back is facing is fast, he's going to get that yard on him. So I don't understand why he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, like the amount of teams that are playing such high lines now, you'd think we just boom one over the top, because we're kind of that team that would boom one, and I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to really like fight his corner for him at the moment, and I'm definitely in agreement with what Mason said about someone needs to kind of just simplify his game, get an arm around him. I don't know why Nuno's not done that personally. Unless he's just ignoring what he's saying, but then he's not getting dragged off in games as such, and he does show glimpses. He just needs to show more. And I get 22 years old, the second kind of full season as a professional. Like, I know it's not, but it is in a sense. And he's still learning. You want to grab him and kind of get more out of him, because you know he can do it. So yeah, but I think Jota coming in, I think this is a perfect game for him. I think there is pressure, but you're at home, you're against a newly promoted side, and I don't see why he can't go and impose himself, especially against Leif Davis, who's going to have no clue who he is, apart from that he looks a little bit like Jack Grealish, Mason.
What's your
Yeah, I think 100%. You're right. I think this game would suit either of Jota or Elanga if Elanga wants to do what he's good at, because Leif Davis is a modern fullback. He's not thinking of going into a game thinking, I want to defend. He's thinking, what can I create at the other end? So like Danny said earlier, they do leave spaces. So regardless of who it is, Jota or Elanga, we need to exploit that. And like obviously we've all picked Gibbs White. Hopefully Gibbs White's the one finding them, because I think that's where 100% we could have a bit of joy.
Yeah, definitely. We played Ipswich last time in 2018, guys. I mean, that was a long, long time ago. That was the last time we played them at the City Ground anyway, under Aitor Karanka. Danny, we was at that game. Do you believe it or not, we were, yeah. I've got a fun quiz question. We scored a goal where every player touched the ball in the goal. It got finished off by Lewis Graben. Can either of you tell me who got the assist? And I can even read you out the team if you really want. I'll bring
read
it
us
up.
the team.
Mate, you're gonna have to. Honestly,
while you're having a think, I'll just.
I'm not even thinking about it. You have to read the team.
So I will read the team out. One.
This in the Bet Bright kit.
It is in the Bet Bright kit, yes.
It will be, yeah.
Where is?
Who would be in this squad? Oof. João Carvalho playing.
Joe Carvalho was playing, yes. Why can't I find this team? This is really annoying. Okay, right.
Tendai Dorico, I'd imagine, was in there.
Tendai Dorico was in there, yeah. So the team was Pantilimon, Dorico, Dawson, Heffler, Robinson, Guardiola, Colback, Diaz, Carvalho, Lolly, and Graven, and the substitutions that came on were Osborne, Matty Cash, and Sarafard.
And Sarifan. Oh my God.
Unused subs that
this
day. Unused subs: Luke Steele, Daryl Murphy, Sadie Janko, and Claudio Jacob.
Wow.
Oh my God, how far have we come?
Yeah.
Was the goal scored first or second half?
This was scored first half.
Okay,
Put us 2-0 up.
So Mason, none of the subs will have been on.
No, I'm going for Diaz.
It wasn't Diaz.
Well, Gil Diaz. Oh my God.
It's one of
I'll
my
go Joe
favourite
Lolly.
goals. No, it was Deriqua.
It was Derico, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember this goal, Wickers, to save my life.
Well, you've done things since then, haven't you? You've like actually, I don't know, I've done life. I'm just a bit sad.
No. Honestly, I just sometimes some goals stick in your mind, don't you? Especially ones where like you've got a whole team touching the ball and stuff. But no, afraid not.
But how do you see the game going, Danny, on Saturday? Like how do you kind of see it lining up? When I spoke to, I mean, I'll let you in a bit behind the curtain. When I spoke to Ben Bloom from Blue Monday, he was saying that he's quite worried about how Forest style will line up against Ipswich's because they like to play through the thirds if they can, and we're kind of a bit not pressing, but we don't sit in a low block either. And he said they tend to struggle against sides like that a lot of the time. So how do you kind of see it going as with the impetus of us being the home side and possibly when you look at the next set of fixtures, needing to win this game maybe a little bit more than we think?
I see Ipswich starting very fast. I see Ipswich coming out the blocks and just taking the game to us. And I see us actually soaking up pressure for about 20 minutes, if I'm honest with you. Not in a bad way, not like backs against the wall, like we're really struggling, but I see Ipswich flying out the blocks and us just being like arm's length, like, right, let's see what you got. And then once they peter off, I just think we'll take total domination of it. I think we'll go in at 1-0 and I think we'll end up 3-1. But I do think that Forest will assert a lot of dominance in this game and really look to be on the front foot after the first 15, 20 minutes. I really do think Forest will just see what they're about for a bit because I think Ipswich are a dangerous team, like I said earlier, and you can't underestimate that and just go straight for the jugular straight away because they're clearly well drilled. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I see it panning out as us having dominance for a good period of the game, but I think the first 15, 20 minutes is going to be quite attacking from Ipswich and we're just going to have to deal with it.
Fair enough. Mason, anything different to that?
He's killed me really because that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I think they'll come flying out the blocks.
See, that's why we're friends, mate. Yeah,
100%. I can see it happening now. I think they'll start quick because I think they'll think that we're there for the taking because they're on a bit of a high. We're on not necessarily a low, but we're off the back of 2 losses, aren't we? So I think they'll want to start quick. They don't want to go down a goal. They won't because I think they'll be struggling if they do. But I agree with Danny. Yeah, I think we'll get into the game, we'll grow into it, and then I think we'll assert a bit of dominance, hopefully with the right personnel playing. Depending on fitness issues, I think Gibbs White or Anderson, whoever's playing in the 10, I think we'll have a bit of a good game, a bit of a free roam really. So yeah, hopefully we ride the wave, not like we did at Arsenal, but yeah, hopefully we ride the wave, and I think I've got a prediction of 3-1 as well, to be honest.
I mean, I said 3-1. We've all had the same team, same score. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry, there's a bit of a delay there. Yeah, I just want to touch on the teams that we've all gone for. Like, do you know what I could also see happening in this game because we want to have control of the ball and be able to like launch attacks from deep quite quickly? I can see Dominguez coming out and Anderson and Gibbs White starting for this one, if I'm totally honest with you. I can see Anderson starting in the 8 and Gibbs White in the 10. And I can really see it because Anderson is a progressive. It's fantastic football. He's literally, I love the guy. He's one of my favourite signings we've had in years. I think his ability to do absolutely everything as a midfielder is so good. And I think in this type of game, his energy, if he's fit, obviously, his energy and his ability to take the ball from deep and drive with it and push the their midfield back or catch them out, and then that frees Gibbs White up to be a fourth attacker in that, like 3 and 1. Do you know what I mean? And then Anderson's pushing into that gap. I can see it happening. I can see it happening all day long.
I could definitely see a possibility of that. It's just we don't know what the extent of his absence was, do we? With him not going to England, not going with the under 21.
We don't with Gibbs White either, but we don't with Gibbs White either. But we put him in the team.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like because he went, and then we've seen him like in the training pictures and stuff, and everyone like what we're all like as football fans. You're right. You read into so much stuff. I mean, with Mason, if you've got headphones in the starting and whatnot, I mean, and half the time it's a load of rubbish. I mean,
I think what I'm saying is I'd love that. My dream scenario for me would be Anderson starting 8 and Gibbs White starting 10.
Do you, Mason? Do you see this as a potential banana skin? Because weirdly enough, I think since Nuno's took over, our home form hasn't been exactly. I'm going to say it. It's not been Cooper-esque, has it? It's been very, very hit and miss, and I can't put my finger on why.
Yeah, I think any game against a relegation team, a team coming up, from the Championship the year before, is always a bit of a banana skin. Yeah, like, I think for some reason under Nuno we've gone backwards at home, but we've developed away. So it's a bit more of a fine balance that's been found. I think away from home we've done really well against promoted teams. I think I'd probably be weirdly a little bit more confident away from home. I don't know why. Just at the moment, the way we're playing, I think suits us, especially away from home. Like I say, it's not a low block, is it? It's a mid block. It's just being solid and then springing a counter. I think it suits us away from home because we can have a lot more patience with it. But yeah, of course it is. I think it is definitely a banana skin. Like we've touched on before, they've got some really good young talent. To be fair, they've got some good players. But I think if we turn up, I say this most games, to be honest, about Forest. If we turn up, our backers 100%. If we turn up and we're on it, our 100% backers to get a win, 100%.
Since Danny has said about Anderson playing in the central midfield, I feel more we should go with that if that's a possibility, because I completely and utterly agree. I just think like if we've got someone of his ilk, even if you partner him with either Yates or Dominguez, I just think that will give us so much more control of the football and kind of back Ipswich away from us. I actually don't think then they'll be like, oh, we can't go and completely press because they've got a player who's press resistant in terms of he can take a player on and he can move the ball forward relatively quick, whether it's right foot or left foot as well. Like Anderson is that good, I think, is in all honesty. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting game. I think I'd be stupid not to be confident in it. And I said 3-1 as well on the past pod as well. And same team, same scoreline, guys. We're all going to enjoy ourselves at the NAV pre-match. Obviously, we're hoping the Japanese fan who have like tried to big up comes as well, because why not? That'll be fun for him. But yeah, so 3-1 for everyone. Yeah, that's your
yes, mate. Yeah, that's right. I can say, like you said in our chat, because I can just Mason, you see them scoring. I can, because I think that they've got it in them. They're a dangerous team, so they've got it in them to score. Delap will probably score. Do you know what I mean? So, and I rate Delap. I would love Forest to have Delap, if I'm being totally honest with you.
That'll make Derby fans happy, because I think he's come through their academy. Yeah, I think is he Rory Delap's son or is his nephew?
Yes,
Rory Delap's son.
I wonder if he's inherited his long throw ability, though. I've not seen it. I mean, that'd be dangerous. But no, thanks for joining me, guys. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Hope you
pleasure, mate. Thank you. No, pleasure, mate. I always love coming on here, so appreciate the invite. Love chatting Forest.
Yeah.
So we get the 3-1 win.
Definitely, or more, or 3-0 or whatever. More. Yeah, it'd be great. Just to let everyone know who's audio listening, I've added an advert at the bottom here. It's Christian's new book on the Cooper years called "Just Can't Get Enough." It's on Amazon, and the link will be in the description below. They've already chopped the price. It's flying off the shelves, I think, for Christian. So if you need an idea for a present for a fellow Forest fan, for a dad, mum, sister, brother, whatever, that could be the one to get. So yeah, check that out in the link below. Hopefully we're reporting on a win come Sunday morning. The fan preview will be out later this week as well, which was recorded on Monday as we record this on Tuesday. It's just all over the shop. But until then, until next time, come on, you Reds.